Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we are back with the chasers, the handicap marks for those that ran over fences that have changed over the weekend, and there are three that caught my eye. Starting off with Il Ridotto, who dropped £1 to 146, and that might not sound a lot. It isn't, obviously. It's just £1 to 146. That does actually mean he's now £2 lower than when he was sent off 4-1 favourite for the Paddy Power Cheltenham Countdown Podcast Handicap Chase, the 2.5 mile at Cheltenham in January, where he finished third. Nothing wrong with that. Beaten, who was he beaten by? Garlaw and Lounge Lizard. Yeah, nothing really wrong with that. Good effort. That was off 148. He's down to 146. He started the season off 144. Finished third behind Stage Star, and I can't remember who else it was. I'm just having a look on my other screen. Not long till May. So graded horses. Freddie Gingell took £5 off that day. That could be really interesting if they go down that route again at Cheltenham. Imagine putting a £5 claimer on Il Ridotto in the plate. You'd have to give him a big chance. That would be the same mark as when he was 6th last year when Harry rode him, Harry Cobden, and maybe that isn't. You know, he's not quite good enough to win off 146, but maybe he is good enough to win off, say, a 146 with a 5 claim on. But yeah, he's the sort of horse. I actually put this in the Twitter thread for this. He's the sort of horse that you want to stick in your play spot. If you do play spots or even an each way bet, you know, when you get on the day they give like 5, 6, 7 places. You'd be disappointed if Il Ridotto wasn't in the first 5 or 6 really. Particularly if they put a £5 claimer on, and he's sure to run his race in that plate. Let's just have a quick check what price he is. Let's load up the odds. Oops, which race was it? It's the plate. Never totally remember what day they're on. Yeah, I got it right. That was a bit of luck. Il Ridotto, where is he? Look at the price on Crebley, shortening again. I mentioned him last week. Il Ridotto, here he is. 14s and 16s. When you can already get 5 places. I mean, that's not mental at this stage, is it? If you can get 6, 7 places on the day, and you can still get 16s about Il Ridotto, I actually think he's a good each way bet. I think he will finish in the front 6 or 7. If you want to give it a go that he'll finish in the top 5, then that's not a bad price at all, to be honest, at 16s. You can kind of take out some of these as well. I think Madara is not going for that. Madara's going for the... where's Madara going? The Grand Annual. I think Garlaw's being supplemented for the Ryanair. St. Oir's probably going Grand Annual. In Excelsis Dio, probably Grand Annual. Yeah, there's a few that won't be running here anyway, so he might not be a bad price at 16s each way, even at this stage. The second horse that caught my eye for the new handicap marks is Saint Seagal. Now, this is going to annoy people. This is like me talking about Mr. Coffee or who else is very frustrating like that. There's a few others. As you can see, he hasn't won since winning at Hereford in January 2023. Has since finished second twice, third twice, fallen, unseated. Very frustrating career so far for Saint Seagal, but is still relatively young, still only a 6-year-old. Where would I go with Saint Seagal? Got to go back to Ascot, haven't you? There's this handicap. This was the race that he probably ran his best in. This came earlier this season behind Boot Hill and First Flow, as you can see on the screen. That's really good form. You know, Boot Hill was actually tried in a Grade 1, was it, subsequently? That came off a mark of 137. With the handicapper now dropping him, he's dropped him back down to 137. He finished second, Saint Seagal, earlier this season behind First Flow at Lingfield in the handicap chase there, beating the king of PRS, I don't know how you say that. Triple Trade back in 5th, another good run, only beaten a length and a bit. That came off a mark of 139. If they're going to go anywhere, surely they go to Ascot just after Cheltenham, Sunday the 24th of March. Again, they'll be missing all of those Cheltenham horses that have gone to Cheltenham. You know, the Grand Annual and the Plate, all of those horses that have gone there won't be running in March. And the race that would suit him, this race here, it's over 2 mile. It's the LK Bennett Handicap Steeplechase for horses rated 0 to 145. He's rated 137. He'll get in here, and it's decent prize money. Well, it's not the worst prize money. It's not, unfortunately, it's not like the Plate prize money, but it's a race that Saint Segal could win. He's only 6. If you wanted to go to Cheltenham, then maybe they could look next year as a 7, or even the year after that as an 8-year-old, once he's got a bit more confidence and a bit more consistency to his runs. But I'd really like to see him back at Ascot in this LK Bennett Handicap Steeplechase. The final horse that caught my eye. So if you've watched my weekend review, I think I mentioned the Galloping Bear. He was my selection for the race, the Ida Chase, off the back of his second behind Kitty's Light last year. And in my review, I think I talk about him and rule him out. I initially say, look, I can't see what they will do with him. He was very disappointing. What you could say is maybe he actually wants better going now. Maybe he doesn't want the soft ground. If you look at his last 4 runs that have been disappointing, heavy, soft, good to soft, soft. I actually think they're good to soft at Chepstow. Well, it was Chepstow good to soft as well, so it made it a real stamina-sapping race. Maybe he wants better going now, and maybe that he's dropped another £5. He's dropped to 135. He's very well handicapped on his best form for sure. This race at Exeter, the Devon Stayers Handicap. Horse is rated 0 to 135, so he gets in here off top weight. And maybe Joe Anderson could ride again. If Joe Anderson rides again, he would be running off 130. Considering he ran off 145 last year, he ran off 140 last year in the Ida Chase and finished second. To be running just a season and essentially one race later off a £10 lower mark, back on the ground that he ran so well on. Maybe that was the big key. Maybe it wasn't necessarily the trip, or it wasn't the... he didn't just go really well that day. Maybe it was about the ground, and maybe he's now saying, actually, I'm not as good on that heavy going. And I was winning those races earlier on in my career because I was just so well handicapped. Give him one more chance in the Devon National on better going, and he could be interesting. He's not, I wouldn't be as confident as him running a big race as I am Il Ridotto. Definitely going to run a big race at Cheltenham. Saint Segal should definitely run a big race at Ascot if he goes there. The Galloping Bear is one that I think will be a price still. You'll probably get 10s, 12s, 14s, depending on the size of the field. It's not always the biggest field, the Devon National. But it may be that, he gets a softer lead. I don't think he did at Newcastle. Who was it that went with him? Christopher Wood went with him, didn't he? Tried to just keep putting it up to him, and maybe they both paid the price for that. But yeah, I just think he might get an easy lead at Exeter, and off his new 135 mark, and potentially on better going, maybe that will bring him back to running a good race. If that didn't, if they went to Exeter and he disappointed on good to soft, he really then would be difficult to place going forward.